And we are live for episode 3 of the End Zone Rush show here on Ellis Highlight Reel. I am your host with the most, Brandon Ellis. As always, I got my guys. I got Chris, who is finally here. You see him on off the wall with me, and you see him on Total Apex Entertainment as well. And then I got my main guy, Jacob Perrine, with me. But where's my other main guy? Where's Shane at, guys? Where's Shane? Where's Shane? Do we know where Shane is?
We know where Shane is because he texted us 30 minutes before the show's going to start. He's going to be like, boys, I hate to break this to you, but I'm going to be at the preseason game for the Pats. So,
Yeah, he went to Gillette Stadium. No, I respect the Shane. Respect the Shane, obviously. But yeah, he went to Gillette to watch the first preseason game for his and Chris's Pats tonight. So that's going to be a good one. Should be a fun one. I don't know if the Stars are playing. I don't think May's playing. I don't think Brown's playing.
No, I doubt it. I didn't see any reports that they were. Also, by the way, respect to Shane, but also you bastard.
You lucky guy.
That's what I gotta say. You bastard.
You lucky guy, Shane. You are a lucky guy. But it's preseason. You're not going to see Drake May, so that is the one. That's the one.
Except on the sideline. That's it.
Yeah. That's the one bad benefit of going to preseason. But it's good for him. He'll be back, probably back on the show next week on NFL, and definitely a loaded Limitless Range episode on Monday.
Yes.
Very loaded. So very loaded. So stay tuned for that. Me and Chris will have a good episode off the wall on Sunday. But let's get into this End Zone Rush episode for y'all. We have some college football topics this week finally. With the season around the corner in a couple weeks with week 0 about to pop up. So we're gonna start with this break. The little bit of news I broke on Monday night. It was Monday night. When we on Limitless Range basketball. Derek Carr and UCLA have so Derek Carr, former Raiders, former New Orleans Saints quarterback, former Fresno State QB as well, is stepping into Bob Chesney's staff at UCLA as an like a advisor type role. I don't think he's like actually on the like a QB like coach or anything like that. Obviously, Chesney carried most of his staff from JMU with him to UCLA. So that's still Dean Kennedy and the QB coach from JMU and all that stuff, and everything that did on the offensive side. And so, but Derek Carr going to be advising the offense over there at UCLA. That's gonna be a fun. That's gonna be a fun team in the Big Ten. I think UCLA is very underrated in the Big Ten this year. Even though, like, you know, some of the critics are gonna be like, I think it's a year early, like the Indiana Cignetti turn. But as a guy that was like supportive of Cignetti, I think Chesney's going to shock the Big Ten a little bit and pull off some upsets. What y'all thoughts on this UCLA situation?
Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out for them. I've always been a UCLA fan myself. I always kind of root for them. You know, I don't know if it's because when I was a kid, you know, the logo and it was the same as the Red Sox logo and I sort of attached myself to that or not. But, so it's cool. We'll see, you know. We'll see. I mean, I'm always wary of some of these like big name hires and how much they really will impact, especially early, you know. So I'm not going to say it's like this major groundbreaking thing that's going to completely change UCLA's season. I think it's cool that he joined in. I think it's always nice to get into.
And I'm glad you have that balance. I'm glad you have that balance because I'm going to be full biased on Bob Chesney because he's he's one of my guys. So that's the thing. So
that's fair. But I do think UCLA will do well. You know, do I think? I mean that it'll be tough for them and everything, but I'd like to see them surprise some people for sure. So hopefully that'll happen, and hopefully some of these hires get them there right away.
Exactly.
I would love to. I certainly would like to see that. So
I think I do think UCLA would be good. I don't think it'll be like a turnaround like Indiana, because I just think Kurt Signetti is just like a Hall of Fame level head coach. Now Chesney's good. I think he'll be very good for UCLA. I just don't think it'll be that level of a turnaround. I do think there'll be a bowl team at the very least. But when you look at their schedule, they play some pretty top dogs in Ohio State and Oregon and all those. I just feel like with how loaded the Big Ten is and how competitive it is, especially at the top end, I feel like they could very well pull out a 7-5 season and be a bowl team. I could see that happening, which is definitely better than what they have been over the years. So I just feel like, yeah, Chesney. I believe in Chesney, even though I'm not a JMU alumni and don't have all the bias in me like Brandon. But I do believe in any JMU, former JMU coaching staff, players, and all that, just because they have a good program over there.
Yeah.
And I just believe in Derek Carr being a good advisor for them, because you get even though he was a solid QB, not a Hall of Fame level QB, I just feel like you get that veteran presence and somebody who knows how to run an offense in there, helping it to advise the younger QBs and all that sort. I just feel like they'll be a pretty decent team.
Yeah, so my more thoughts on it, obviously, Derek Carr, Derek Carr specifically. I think Derek, like Jacob said, Derek Carr can provide something for the QB room to help out. To going back to the main overall point, because I might have like a sneaky dark horse UCLA in my top 10 teams. I might not. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course, but they are a dark horse for me in the Big Ten, because most of the players from JMU that were on that playoff team know how to win, and most of them went with them. Obviously, they got Nico. Even I can't always butcher Nico's name, but they still have Nico from who transferred from Tennessee as the QB. That's why Alonzo Barnett didn't go out with them either. I think if they didn't have Nico Iamaleava
or something like that, yeah.
So if they didn't have Nico, I think Alonzo Barnett would be on this team, and I would be even more confident in this team. Because I know what that team would be. I just don't know what Nico sometimes is like up and down for me, even though Nico was like great QB in Tennessee. He had a bad season last year at UCLA. With that turmoil of the staff. So that's where I'm at with there. But speaking of that top 10, let's get to our top 10 teams in college football heading into this 2026 season. Jacob, I'll start with you.
I feel like it won't be that much different than what we usually do. I got to pull up the top 10 here because I have some that I want to change. So like right now, OSU, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Iowa, or no, not Iowa, Indiana, Miami, Texas A&M, OU, and Mississippi. I don't mind having those in the top 10. I feel like those teams are solid enough teams. Obviously, Ohio State's at the top of the pecking order, which makes sense after all the returning players they're having. Despite losing, Caleb Downs and others to the draft, I feel like they're still going to be a great team. The one team that I just don't trust in the top 10 that I left out that I would probably replace is Notre Dame. I just have never trusted because they always give themselves an easy schedule in the middle parts of the season. At the beginning, they try to, we'll play a couple tough teams at the beginning of the season. But that being said, I just don't think their strength of schedule leans to them being a potential playoff team. Maybe their roster and their prestige will get them there. I just don't think it's a good top 10 team based upon their strength of schedule compared to the other teams in there. So I would probably replace them with somebody like an Alabama or even an LSU because of the Lane Kiffin hire, because he brought a lot of people over from Ole Miss. I just feel like those have a little bit more bite to them than Notre Dame does. And I would say the only team in the top 10 that I would just be a little bit down on would be Indiana, not because they're not going to be a great team, because I full-heartedly think they will be. Look, they went 11-2 in Signetti's first season, and he had Curtis Rourke at freaking quarterback.
Yes.
And then the second season wins the championship with the best QB in the entire draft class.
Yeah.
So even though, and I think Hoover, the transfer from TCU to replace Mendoza, will be a good fit there, and I do think they will be a playoff team. I just don't think they'll be the same level of team they were compared to last year. That was the only team I'd be down on, but not because they're not good.
Yeah. They lost Pons, they lost Fisher, they lost the JMU guys that went with them the first time. So this is completely new crop of guys at Indiana. Not the 23 Dukes that went with him. Type of team. So this is like Kurt Zanetti with pretty much fresh blood. I think there's still a couple of JMU guys that were deep down the route, like younger guys down there that went with them in 23 on this team, but it's not many left over. It's interesting to see what the Indiana side of it is. Chris, let me get your top 10, and then I'll wrap it up with mine.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mostly agree with the top 10 as well. I mean, I think it's fairly reasonable, especially not seeing them play games. I also agree with you both that I think there's going to be some regression out of Indiana. I think it's just natural that there'll be some regression there. My counterpoint to Notre Dame specifically, the flip side of them having an easier schedule is that they're far more likely to go undefeated or maybe lose one game, which is my argument why they'll automatically be a playoff team. Just because I think their record, a team with their pedigree having the record that they likely will have, will pretty much automatically lock them into a playoff spot. Whether that's fair
unless we get like a Miami situation like last year or something like that.
The one team outside of the top 10 that I would sort of keep an eye on this year is LSU. I think them at 13, I think they could sneak into the top 10 there. I think they could surprise some people there and be better than expected. But otherwise, I think for what we know right now, I think it's a pretty reasonable top 10. I don't see anything that's glaringly shocking out of anybody on that list.
I think maybe one other team that people would be doubtful on would probably be Ole Miss. But I just don't feel like with Ole Miss they're returning a lot of players. Like even though they lost a lot of players when Lane Kiffin left, that from that playoff run, obviously Trinidad's back. He was able to find a way to come back. And now you still have, a lot of the pieces left, a significant amount of the pieces left over from Lane Kiffin's departure. So I just feel like they'll still be a really, really solid team, especially with that coaching staff that was part of Lane Kiffin's and led them all the way to that college football playoff run. I just feel like they'll be a certifiably good team and definitely a top 10 team.
Yeah, so Ole Miss. So the coaches poll, that's what the guys are referencing, the 2026 preseason coaches poll. Obviously, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, Indiana, Miami, Texas A&M, and OU and Ole Miss. And then Alabama, Texas Tech, LSU, USC, BYU, Michigan, Penn State, Tennessee, Washington, SMU, Utah, Iowa, Clemson, Houston, Missouri. That's a good, solid preseason 25, a top 25, I think. I would flip out a couple of those bottom teams for Virginia. Virginia's are really coming back with most of the guys that they had in that run last year to the ACC title. Or near title that when they lost to Duke.
To Duke,
they lost to Duke of all teams. Thank you, by the way, Duke, for letting JMU in the playoff. So I mean, other than that, JMU got 6 votes in the preseason coaches poll, which is awesome. With the turnaround, so that's awesome. I think. But getting to my top 10. And I'm actually going to do the thing in order what I would have in my top 10 teams. I will have Ole Miss at 10. I like that rating. Trinidad Chambliss is back. The offensive pieces are mostly back. The defense is mostly back from last year's run. I love me some Ole Miss this year, and
Yeah.
I think
And I think they have a chip on their shoulder. They want to prove themselves, just
Yep.
like they did last year. Yeah.
Yep. I would have Texas A&M 9, and then flip OU 8. I love the OU defense, and I love Venables so much. So that's why I would flip those two SEC teams.
And I think the only criticism people would have for that would be, do you trust Mateer to, get to the same level he was beginning of last year before he had the hand injury?
Right.
I feel like OU's offense will just be better with Mateer being healthy. If he's able to stay healthy, I think they'll be good.
Yeah, because Mateer was going to win the Heisman. He was going to win the Heisman before that hand injury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before that hand surgery, I feel like he
Heisman.
came back too quickly from the surgery.
Yeah,
I feel like he was just
100%.
not. You could see he did not have the same level of accuracy or spin on the ball.
Yeah, and I love Marcel Reed. Though it's not me slating
Yeah.
Marcel Reed at all. I just don't think Texas A&M as a team is better than OU right now. I get why they did it because of the pedigree of Elo and all that stuff, but OU has been consistent under Venables, and I just think they're a good team. Miami, I would put IU at 7 and Miami higher. I would put Notre Dame 6, and I'll put Miami in my top 5.
Yeah.
Mensa at QB is an upgrade over Carson Beck. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Carson Beck is doing in Arizona right now. I don't care. Mensa is a better dual threat option and can bring Miami and the defensive talent they got in the portal too. I think they're going to be hungry after falling short in that game against Indiana last year at home. In the Natty, I think Miami.
And I think, in my honest opinion, I think Mark Fletcher is going to be a Heisman candidate.
Yep, I do too.
At least, like one of the finalists. I do think Fletcher will have a fantastic year for the Hurricanes.
And then also Tony's going to have another great year too.
Yeah.
So that's Malachi Tony. I love that kid. That kid's going to be a stud in the league when he gets to the NFL. So, that's my 7 through 5 there. And then the top 4, I would have Georgia at 4, Texas 3, Ohio State 2, Oregon 1. That's what I would have. I think Georgia is a prove it mode with the offense. Under Kirby Smart, new quarterback. I think it's a new quarterback. I don't know if it's the same quarterback.
I think it might be different. I think he was an upperclassman who graduated. Who their quarterback was last year? I forget his name.
It was John Stockton. It was Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Stockton. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just I think it's a new quarterback.
I think it's a new quarterback, and so they might get off of a slower start. You would think, but they're still going to be there.
Yeah.
Texas. I know Arch Manning has been a disappointment in the first couple years at Texas. I think it's like a Peyton Manning situation where year 3 he makes that leap, year 4,
pops.
and then he pops,
yeah.
So I think this is the year Texas gets it done. I think Texas is going to be one of those teams. Is I would bet on for the championship to make it to the championship. Just because they host Ohio State this year. They don't go to Ohio State. So I think Austin's going to be loud for that game. First game day set of the year, I think, is that game. Or I think that the college game day is going to that game.
Not the first game. I think it'd be I think it's one of the first games.
Yeah, one of the early games for college game day this year. So
it's in that opening slate.
Yeah, so that's going to be like an environment, that's going to be no under.
I do agree with you that Texas is one of my championship favorites, just because the way because I know everybody talked about Arch Manning being disappointing last year. He was disappointing at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That ending, that last 6-7 game stretch, he was on fire.
That was
after the Florida game.
And I feel like he found his stride and was able to really understand how to run an offense, because that was keep in mind that was his first year starting. He didn't start his first year. It was what's his name?
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. He didn't start his first year, so now that he's got that under his belt, I just feel like, yeah, he's going to be great this year.
Agreed. That was my point, was going to be that he finished off so strong, assuming he can continue that growth. I mean, I think it's going to be hard to beat Texas this year, period. So I have them in my probably, if I had to make a pick this second right now without seeing anything, I would probably pick them as an upset sort of pick. I don't know how much of an upset a top 4 team can really be, but I think
right. A lot of people are, I think right now, based on the coaches poll, people would think Georgia's the best team in the SEC. I think Texas is the best team in the SEC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of like the team is mostly back.
Yeah.
The continuity.
Yeah. The questions on obviously on offense for Georgia, especially at the quarterback position, whereas Texas, you don't have that question.
Yeah, you don't have that question. So I think this is a hot, like you said, March Fletcher. I think Arch Manning solidifies himself as a Heisman favorite. Like in the beginning of the year. Definitely. With that Ohio State game. In week 2, I think that'd be the game that solidifies the Heisman for either Sand or Manning, their performances. Yeah. And it's not that I don't like Ohio State, and they still got probably the best receiver in the game in Jeremiah Smith.
Yes,
and I think Sand's going to be better. It's not that. I just love I love Dan Lanning so much, and I think that Oregon team's mindset is like going to make them one. And like Dante Moore.
Yeah,
is the best quarterback in college football right now.
I feel like even when we're talking about Arch Manning being the Heisman favorite, I feel like Dante Moore is going to be the winner.
Yeah, 100%. Dante Moore is the best quarterback in college football right now. Like, I think the finalists are going to be preseason Heisman finalists. Normally, these don't pan out. But my picks are Dante Moore, Arch Manning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sneak one in. I'm gonna sneak a guy in that I think could have a electric season. I'm gonna sneak Jeremiah Smith in.
Okay.
I'm gonna sneak the receiver in over Mark Fletcher.
I love putting a skill position player in there, man. Instead of just the quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm gonna sneak in Jeremiah Smith. I think he's gonna be Heisman. I think he's gonna surpass his 2025 season. We would think he was going to be a Heisman, guy, but he ended up kind of falling short. I think this is the year he solidifies himself and has like a great season. What are your thoughts on that, Chris? Real quick.
Yeah, I haven't fully thought about necessarily who I think will be Heisman finalist yet. I mean, there's just so many different factors in there. I don't disagree with any of your picks, and I do think that there will be a skill position player in there somewhere. So I think if I was betting money on which one it would be, that makes the most sense to me.
Obviously, or skill position, since we're on that. If it's not going to be Jeremiah Smith, put another receiver in, Malachi Toney in there.
Yeah,
we were just talking about maybe put him in there.
Yeah. One of the Miami guys could, like Mark Fletcher, Malachi Toney, could really shake up the Heisman finalists. I think. I don't think they can win it. Unless
they have a historic season.
Unless Malachi Toney has like a great special team season, or
he has like a Devontae Smith type season. Yeah.
The same for Jeremiah Smith. I think to win it, I think they're going to have a Devontae type season. To win it. Because both quarterbacks I mentioned, I think they're going to have great seasons. I think Dante Moore is going to have a great season. I think Arch Manning is going to have a great season.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, speaking of quarterbacks, former Heisman winners, Mr. Jaden Daniels has officially told or gotten an attorney to say to LSU, stop using my NIL because they gave number 5 to a DB. The incoming DB, and I for one, I've seen the trolling, the memes of this because of Daniels, like at Fanatics Fest with a lot of bodyguards, I think it was, and stuff like that, and the ego side of it. I get it if I were Jaden Daniels because he's the one of only 3 people that win the Heisman at LSU.
Yeah,
Burrow, Daniels, and a running back in the day in the 50s. That's it. That's the only three players out of LSU's entire.
Which is weird because LSU's been a powerhouse for my entire life.
Yes.
So
It's weird that they've only had 3 Heisman winners, but that's what the case is. And you're not. They don't even use the other 2 Heisman winners numbers anymore. One of them's retired, and then Burrows is out of circulation.
Yeah.
And then the number 5 still in there. I don't know. But the other side of it, the devil's advocate point of it, you didn't have your whole career there.
Yeah, it was a 1-season thing. Yeah. Well, Burrow was kind of the same way, but the difference was he won the championship. So
he won the championship, and he was an outcast at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Because they went with who was it? They went with during Burrow's year. That Burrow.
I don't remember, but like even then, Jaden was an outcast at ASU, so they ran him out of town.
I get that. I know, but here's the thing. I think Daniels was more of a transfer situation than an outcast situation. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do think that. Yeah,
because he transferred within the new portal rules.
Yes.
To LSU because of the better team, the better opportunity.
Yeah.
Than ASU. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of get where he's coming from as a player.
Well, they were also half-awning him and Sam Levitt together, so it's like he wasn't getting much playing time, so that's understandable. Yeah,
that's understandable why he transferred to LSU. I get that, but at the same time, you did leave, like you did follow like the protocol of transfer portal to get to LSU. Granted, you had one of the best seasons at LSU ever, and to have to win a Heisman there, like it's great.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it. I think I agree with him, but I kind of like want to say like it's their decision, obviously. You know,
I just don't. I don't agree with the actions taken. I agree with the sentiment.
Yeah.
Of like, look, I was a great player for LSU. I was one of only 3 Heisman winners there ever. I understand the sentiment in terms of like, yeah, I wouldn't like to see anybody else wear that number anymore after the season I had there. But at the same time, I just don't think you should have illegal actions against it.
Yeah,
because that's just a bad look. That's just straight up. That's just a bad look.
Yeah.
And look, very rarely do college teams retired jersey numbers. Now they'll retire jerseys. Like for example, Arizona, we have 4 jerseys that hang up in McHale Center. We have Steve Kerr, Jason Terry, and Miles Simon's jerseys hanging up in the McHale Center rafters. But those numbers are not retired. Plenty of people, or I think Mike Bibby's the last one that has it there. But there are plenty of people that can still wear the number 10, number 31, and all of those jersey numbers. They can still wear them, but the jerseys themselves are hanging. They're iconic. But it's such a rare situation in college sports where, okay, we're going to retire this jersey number. It's so rare that it's just like, I don't agree with the actions being taken by Jaden for this. I agree with the sentiment, but that's it.
Yeah, that's my only thing too. The sentiment value of that, that's where I'm at with you.
Yeah.
I also think this too, he has to be careful here because this kind of puts pressure on his season.
Yeah.
With the Commanders. It kind of does because you made yourself known that you want LSU to appease your 2023 Heisman season. Basically, with you saying this, you better go out there and play like that rookie of the year.
Yeah, you better be like rookie Jaden, man.
You better, because if you don't, if you get hurt again and you struggle, especially week 1 in the link, watch out.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be like, oh, this ego for that performance. Are you like if he has a bad performance?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, watch out, Jaden. Be careful. You're going in a slippery slope here. With that, Chris, any more thoughts on the Daniels LSU situation as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much the exact same spot y'all are with it. I get even as much as there may not be a lot of retiring numbers in college sports, I see some argument there in that LSU specifically has made a little bit of a history of that with, Burrow. So I could even see his argument being like, well, why am I not, when it was clearly done? I also see the counterpoint of, winning a championship versus not winning a championship, right?
Or even just taking his jersey number out of circulation like Burrow's number.
Exactly. Yeah. That's sort of what, not officially retiring it, but just sort of being like, hey, we're gonna unofficially, not give the number. But I agree. I mean, I think taking legal action over it is really not a good look for him.
No.
In the long run, it kind of comes off a bit selfish and self-centered. And I agree, it puts added pressure on him to be, you wouldn't in and of itself think that it should really matter to, how he does this season, but I think it does, because I think everybody now, if you're going to draw attention to yourself in that way, you better live up to it. If he's saying he's one of the few people deserving this sort of special treatment, then you better prove he's deserving of it. And if he struggles,
you better prove you're special for that treatment.
Exactly. Yeah. And he, he had that phenomenal rookie year, obviously.
Yeah.
So he was riding off of that, and then injuries and a whole bunch of other stuff obviously hurt him sophomore year. So he does have to, if he has another year like last year, the voices are just going to be louder at him that, the first season was a fluke. He's the next, RG3, whatever. Why is he getting trying to claim special treatment when, he's only average at best right now, So I can definitely see all sides of it. I think y'all covered it pretty well, but
I agree with that. We kind of have to pivot from our plans a little bit. We're transferring to NFL. We're transitioning to NFL, I should say. But instead of covering the Kyler Murray news earlier this week, there's some breaking news in the NFL that I kind of have to get to first. It involves the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
And the guy that just got released in this offseason by the former 2025 first round pick corner who got released on some serious chart, like he's going to probably go to jail unless somehow the charges get dropped here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrion Arnold, who was on Hard Knocks doing a workout. It was being showed he was on Hard Knocks with the Seattle Seahawks doing a workout with them because he obviously still wants to play. And they just signed him. They signed him a 1-year deal. So the Seattle Seahawks are in the business of Terrion Arnold.
Rolling the dice on that one.
They're rolling the dice big time. Big time rolling the dice. I have to kind of get that in before we talk about what we were going to our plans that we have pre-show.
Just the only thing I have to say about that, because a lot of what I would have to say would probably be rude and vulgar, so I'll probably keep it to myself. But all I'll say is I don't know a league. I mean, all the leagues do this. Don't get me wrong. Every league has some people who have done some pretty awful things, and they get other chances because they make teams money, right? But I feel like the NFL, above every other league, just does not care at all if it makes them money, like even less than the other leagues. And I think that's
the other league I would say that does this is UFC. But that would be the only exception to it.
Yeah, true. Obviously, as somebody who, baseball for a second, but like Aroldis Chapman has, domestic violence in his background, and he's still a closer. Like every sport does it, right? But like between this and the recent news about Rashee Rice, and as soon as he gets released from jail, he had no other punishment from the league at all either. Stuff like that. It's just like, but not even pretending that, bad behavior, criminal activity, disgusting behavior matters at all. If you're a star or a potential star, they don't care at all.
That's great in the league, like this first 2 years. He hasn't been great. It shows how he made the right decision in drafting Quinyon over Arnold.
Yeah,
because a lot of people were disappointed when Quinyon's name was called by the Eagles and over Arnold, who went like a couple picks later to Detroit. And I was like, no, Quinyon's the better player of the two of them. I don't care like if Arnold played at Alabama and Quinyon played at Toledo. Stop it. Stop it.
And just the physical profile alone, Quinyon is bigger and longer, so it just makes more sense. Whereas Terrion's more of a slot corner, but he can't even freaking cover the slot. So what's the point of having him out there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Lions found out firsthand on the field that this guy he's not that good.
Yeah. It's a robbery, kidnapping charges in Florida. That is the felony charges against Mr. Arnold right now. Now the NFL has to decide if to put Arnold on the commissioner exempt list. Yeah. Obviously now Goodell has to maybe make that decision. I think he probably will in this situation. But the fact that he signed with the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, the fact that the
I get why Seattle did it because they lost Woolen to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
Even though Woolen was like not like they didn't want Woolen anymore because of the situation, like the offsides and all the penalties. All the penalties that Woolen almost cost them the Rams game in the playoffs. So, I mean, there's.
But even then, it's just you're telling me the market was that shallow. You just had to be like, you know what, we're going to take a flyer on Terry and Arnold. Let's just do that.
That's sort of why I'm at it. Just like I don't see any reason why. It's. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me that any team self-respecting team should even consider,
or even just a team that just won the Super Bowl.
At that they just won the Super Bowl. It's just. But again, it's sort of part of the league culture. I mean, and obviously different situation again. But as a Patriots fan last year, watching the Stephon Diggs situation and him going through court or whatever. And the Patriots basically holding him while they needed him, all the way through the playoffs. And then the second the playoffs ended, now we know.
They cut the rope.
Now we'll cut him. It's the same type of thing. It's like, okay, nothing that these people do matters when it could be a benefit to us. But then it's not a benefit anymore. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, these players are it's so disingenuous, Yeah, and that's the way I see it from Seattle too. It's just disingenuous.
I agree.
Do you want the scores of the Patriots game, real quick, guys? The one that our friend Shane is at.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 3-0 at one point. Is it still 3-0? We may never know.
He froze for dramatic effect.
I was gonna say my Patriots stunned him so much and knocked him off his internet. We're just a dominant team here. It is 3-0, by the way. It is 3-0, but.
Oh, he froze.
All you need to know.
Right when he was about to tell you froze when you right when you were about to tell.
I know. I was right. And I realized
all that was on your screen was literally you just like smiling after you said that.
So I don't know if y'all heard it, but I guess I'll do it again. So our friend Shane is at the Patriots game. That's like we lay it out. So it's 12:45 left in the second, Chris.
Okay.
It was 2nd and 10 or whatever it was, but it might be third down.
The Patriots are just so stunningly good to you, Brandon. It stuns you to silence.
Yeah, I know, right? No, it's a 3-0 game against the Colts, and our friend Shane is at a 3-0 game right now. Instead on this podcast. No. 3-0 game in the preseason. Sure.
You don't believe in Anthony Richardson
he literally had a pick. Dude, Richardson threw a pick that the receiver dropped into the Patriots' hands. It is crazy. I just saw it before I lagged out.
Preseason, baby. That's what you're getting.
You gotta love preseason NFL football here. So some of the other scores from tonight's action so far. Packers up 3-0 against Pittsburgh. The Bengals up 10-0 against the Lions. The Raiders up 7-0, and then the Chargers up 3-0. The other game that's left to start is
Wow,
Tennessee.
all of those sound like such exciting games.
They're not, but hey, I just wanted to
those
highlight.
Those sound like the exact same games that Shane's at, man. I bet he's having fun.
He's having fun with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna roast him next week, but he's
Oh yeah.
If
it stays 3-0, I'm gonna roast his ass so hard.
Yeah, we're gonna roast him. We're gonna roast him. Also, too, we got to get to the Kyler Murray situation quickly before I lag out again. So Kyler Murray earlier this week was officially announced as the Minnesota Vikings starter, and JJ McCarthy is the backup. Yeah. Anyone shocked?
No.
I'm not shocked either by this decision.
A guy who's been a Pro Bowler and actually is a pretty decent QB.
Yeah.
Versus a guy that I don't even know how to describe last season for JJ. Yeah, this was a no-brainer.
Yeah, nine. Yeah,
everybody saw it the second Kyler signed. We all knew this is the direction it was going. The only thing that slightly shocks me is them not even waiting until the first preseason game. Announcing it as early as they did is maybe the only shocking thing. I mean, I think we all saw it coming, but you would have thought they were at least given the facade of JJ McCarthy has a chance if he plays well in these games, and they didn't even do that. So
make things interesting. Like JJ has a great preseason drive in the first game, and we're all sitting here going, "Oh my god, could this be a competition?" Now the Vikings have taken all of that out, and I'm actually, as a fan, disappointed. I wanted to see that. I wanted to feed into those rumors more.
Yeah. I wanted to see it. I wanted the rumors. I want 9. I want 9.
Yeah. just for the memes alone, man, would have been glorious. But
now we get Kyler. We get Kyler Murray. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I think it could go good for Minnesota if Kyler goes back to his early his early Arizona years with this receiving core.
If you just look at how the Vikings did last year with 9 as their quarterback, and then Wentz and whatever other collection of misfits.
They just had a revolving door.
I mean, and they still went. What was it, 9-8 that they went? 9, something like that. Yeah. I mean, Kyler just being marginally decent should get them at least 10 wins. You would think. I mean, so
And even though the division is a stiff one, I just feel like. I believe in O'Connell, and I know he's been known to be the QB whisperer. Obviously, it didn't work out with JJ, but even then, I just feel like he's such a good head coach and an offensive-centric head coach that Kyler, with somebody of Kyler's talents, he's going to be good. Yeah, they're going to be a good team.
As long as he can see over his offensive line, he's fine.
Yeah, that's the main thing with Kyler Murray. So my thing is, does this push the needle over teams like Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit in y'all's minds?
I don't think Chicago.
So you think Chicago?
I just don't think there are two teams in the division that I think are head and shoulders above Green Bay and Vikings. It's Detroit and Chicago.
So you think
because of the talent on the rosters and the coaching changes that they've made. But that being said, I could see a situation where, with how decent all the teams are in the division, I could see all of them somehow getting into the playoffs. Remember, I think 3 out of 4 of them a few years back made the playoffs. It was Green Bay, Detroit, and Vikings.
Yes,
I could see a situation where it's like that again, or maybe even add in 4. Maybe all 4 make it.
It's possible with 7. It's possible with 7. All 4 do make it.
I think if all 4 teams finish above 500 or finish with 10 wins, which I think is a non-zero chance, I think we should just forfeit the NFC South playoff.
100%.
But no, on a serious note, I also do think it's a non-zero chance that Green Bay is the worst team in that division, and that Matt LaFleur is the worst coach in that division at this point, which I think a few years ago nobody would ever have thought they would be saying. but I do think Minnesota has a chance to be better than Green Bay. I do agree Detroit and Chicago are above both the other two teams, and I think Detroit probably wins that division, if for no other reason that their schedule is just a lot easier than Chicago is. With Chicago being the division winner coming out of it, and Detroit having their off year, So
I just think I also think Chicago will regress in some aspects just because they've won so many close games last season.
Yeah, you're not going to win
them. As we know from NFL history, Kansas City last season came into the season where they had like a record amount of games that they won that were close, and then they couldn't win a single close game. I feel like it'll be a similar situation to that. All teams regress that win that close during a season.
Just look at Minnesota.
Yeah,
look at
Minnesota. Exactly.
Look at Minnesota a few years ago when they made the playoffs. And
they had one. Yeah, they had one game where they came. It was a record breaking against the Colts, where there's like 35-point comeback or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I think the Micah Parsons injury, him being out half the year, is going to kill Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think that's going to kill Green Bay's chances for to really be relevant in a playoff chase. Unless Jordan Love steps up like we've been NFL fans have been waiting for him to do. Unless he steps up and becomes Aaron Rodgers overnight. I think the Michael Parsons injury is going to ruin their chances. I really do. I think Michael Parsons,
and also losing what's his name to the Patriots.
Oh yes, I do.
Mr.
Dobbs.
Yeah. Losing Dobbs, I think, was going to really hurt too.
Yeah,
he's such an underrated receiver in the league.
But that's the thing. I just don't think that defense is going to stop anybody without Parsons. I really don't. Yeah. I think that defense is going
to without Parsons, they went from a pretty decent pass rush to one of the worst.
Yeah, exactly. And I think more time is going to – I like their pieces at linebacker. Like, I like Quay Walker. Don't get me wrong. I like some of the secondary guys too, like a couple of the secondary guys too. I just don't think they can like without a good pass rush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's just going to be tough.
I see them as a very middle team overall. They're a very competent team, but that's about the most I see out of them. Nothing special, nothing that's going to shock the league, nothing that's not beatable, but they'll win games. Very Steeler-esque in a way.
They'll win games to be viable, but nothing. I don't see them being a Super Bowl contender in any way.
Not this year. Yeah. Without Parsons, it's not happening.
Exactly.
Chris, me and Jacob and Shane talked about these next two quarterback battles a little bit last week, so we're gonna get your thoughts and your thoughts only on the Cleveland situation.
Yeah,
with Deshaun being the favorite over Shedeur right now, and the Tua over Michael Penix situation in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the Tua one. I mean, Penix is in part hurt, right? That's part of the issue.
Yeah.
But I kind of think they were always going to lean Tua there, anyways. In my opinion, I think he has more upside than Penix does. He also has a much lower floor. He has a much worse downside. But I think that if Tua was healthy, they were going to give him the shot because of the upside there and the fact that the NFC South is so wide open right now.
Yes.
Giving somebody that has a higher ceiling, could be beneficial for them. I mean, Cleveland, I'm not convinced it matters who they go with. I mean, that team is something else, But I mean, it's very clear that the team has never really bought into Shedeur Sanders. I'm not even entirely sure why they ever allowed him to be drafted. If they were just going to let him rot. I mean, they did everything humanly possible to not play him last year.
And then they played him.
Until they were absolutely forced to. So it doesn't shock me that once again they're sort of looking any other way but him until they absolutely have to do it.
He's been the best one camp out of all the options they have.
Yeah, which I think is unfortunate because I think overall there's obviously very clear flaws to his game, right? He's not a superstar. but I think he showed enough last year where he's at least, should be. I mean, when they don't have any other option, particularly, I don't see why they aren't at least giving him a shot to play it out a little bit, while they still work on other things with that team. But I mean, none of it shocks me. I think probably that's where I guessed it was going to go with all of it, just based on the teams and how I feel like they operate. So
100%. So those are the quick thoughts on there. I mean, you go to last week's episode for me and Jacob's thoughts on it. I think we had the similar thoughts of what Chris just said. But if you want to hear our words on it, tune into the VOD of last week's episode on YouTube right now. At Ellis Highlight Reel. So with that being said, is there any other NFL stuff I want to get to before we get to the fantasy aspects with these quarterbacks?
I think it's just the QB stuff we wanted to do mostly for the starting.
So let's just get to the fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
with QBs. Shane was really looking forward to this. I guess I'm gonna have to throw in Shane's stuff next week for the talk quarterbacks. I guess when he gets back.
Well, just like Chris, we'll do it like Chris.
Going to a game over listing off his fantasy.
I know, right?
He loves fantasy so much he wanted to go to a 3-0 game in preseason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Good job, Shane.
Yeah, good choice, Shane. Good job.
Good choice. No, I get it. New England, it's fun. Gillette, it's fun. But 3-0 in New England. Didn't even see a good drive probably from the first string offense, even though they shoot like some of them suited up or whatever. Crazy. Anyway, quarterbacks, fantasy quarterbacks. Let's get into it. So ESPN has an interesting top 16.
Top 15, I would say.
I would say an interesting top 15 of draft position right now. 1 is Josh Allen. 2 is Lamar Jackson. 3 is Jaden Daniels. 4 is Drake May. 5 is Joe Burrow. 6 is Jalen Hurts. 7 is Jackson Dart. Dax 8. Who was 9 again?
Jacob 9.
Herbert was 9. And
Herbert. Yeah.
T-Law is 10.
T-Law is 10. So that's the top 10 right there. And then it was
Caleb.
Y'all got the list. Go ahead and say 11.
Yeah, it was Caleb after that, after top 10. It was Caleb at 11, then Purdy, Mahomes, Bo Nix, and Stafford at 15.
Wow. So I didn't even hear Purdy at 12. That's a little shocking without Pearsall again.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Without Pearsall again. I guess that's
Pearsall and Kittle. Don't forget Kittle's not in there either.
Kittle won't be out. So they're optimistic that Kittle will be back week 1. According to Kittle.
I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I don't either.
Especially because if Parsons is still out with the ACL and he got injured earlier last season, then he got injured it was like week.
Call me 14? Crazy, but I don't think San Francisco has the best history with recovering injuries and
exactly. But Parsons got injured like week 13 or 14 last year or something like that, whereas Kittle got injured in the wild card. Yeah. So it's just, and Achilles are noticeably a lot tougher to come back than the ACL.
Right.
So I just don't feel like, especially for a skill position player like a tight end, I just don't see him being ready week 1.
Yeah, and that's something we'll go in. Like, I don't think Purdy should be in the top 12 of fantasy quarterbacks with that.
No,
with those injuries.
Like literally, if you wanted to switch his position with Stafford, because I just don't understand Stafford being 15th.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I don't either. That's what I guess we'll get into the Stafford dilemma first and foremost. Before we get to the other stuff, we kind of wanted to talk about.
It's the biggest outlier so far. That and Dart being 7th.
Yeah, we'll get to Dart. We'll get to Dart for sure. But let's talk about Stafford. Matthew Stafford, another year older, is probably what they were looking at here. Probably the regression of like Devontae Adams, the regression, of some of the other ones.
Obviously, and all his controversial stuff.
Yeah. So maybe maybe that's what they were looking at when they put Matthew Stafford at 15. But the fact that he is coming off an MVP season,
yes,
and you put him at 15,
and
15 for fantasy football, you're crazy. You're crazy. I get the rushing upside ain't going to be there with Stafford. He ain't going to rush the ball at all. I get that.
Yeah.
But he's at least top 12 fantasy quarterback to me. The potential is there for a top 12 finish. At least.
And look, he's still, and I just feel like we were talking about this before the show. Obviously, they're looking at, Devontae being a year older and the controversies with Puka being impactful on their ability to produce. But I just feel like when you have McVay, doesn't matter the off the field stuff with Puka, you got an elite receiving core. I just feel like he's obviously going to be top 10. It's just weird to me that somebody like Purdy with the weapons that are all injured for him outside of C-Mac, who will probably be injured this season.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But and you have Stafford all the way low, and he's got all these pieces that are coming back on offense, as well as an offensive-centric head coach.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
ESPN, they do things like this sometimes. They
to turn up controversy. I understand.
They want people to talk. They want to get people talking.
Yep, and they've done it here.
And it's working because we're freaking talking about it.
We're talking about it. Good job. Good job, ESPN.
Literally, by fantasy quarterbacks, by total points last year, he was number 1, right?
Yes.
So even if you say he doesn't score running, which he doesn't, right?
Yeah.
If you just say he's going to regress, which he probably will, I mean, I wouldn't expect him to have the same type of season he did last year. Just like I don't think the Rams offense will have quite that same season. I think the defense will be a lot better, which is why they're still by far the favorite, in my opinion, to win it all. But to say he's not even a top 10 after that, to drop him 14 spots, is just absolutely asinine to me. Although I will say, Puka's stupidity is starting to bleed into I don't know if y'all saw this is maybe a minor thing, I don't know, but he shattered his face off of a glass door at a party.
Oh God!
Who did?
The other day, Puka.
Oh,
he walked into a glass door and split his face open at a party with Fanatics owner or something like that.
Oh God!
So now he's causing himself injuries. So who knows? He's going down the Scatterboo route of doing everything.
Well, I tell you, it's a lot better that that's a lot better situation than Scatterboo doing a freaking flip. So.
That's Panera's best.
Yeah. That's crazy. Who knows? But all that being said, I do think that's the most asinine of all the rankings, in my opinion, is having Stafford as low as he is. The only way it would make sense is if they were combining this with like Dynasty because of his age. That's the only way I could see that even remotely making sense.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
if they were
I don't even see him regressing that badly. From a physical standpoint, like arm strength and things like that, because we've seen plenty of quarterbacks extend their careers and their arms are just fine. So
only thing with that is the back injuries that Stafford's had. Some of the other
that's true.
That could be the issue. Yeah,
that could be the concern.
Oh, and fantasy wise, as much as Brady, Rodgers extended their careers, Breeze statistically, fantasy wise, they definitely tanked.
He tanked. Well, mostly because of the shoulder stuff.
Yeah.
His shoulder pretty much gave out on him. But I haven't seen anything from Stafford that suggests, arm issues, shoulder issues.
No, but the back might be.
The back stuff,
The back might be the one that really messes with him.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Stafford. Let's get to Jackson's Dart. Number 7 on ESPN's rankings. This is the one in the top 10 is baffling to me. Where's Caleb Williams? I know he's 11th, but where's Caleb Williams? Where's Dak Prescott? Where's let's see who else is behind him that should be ahead of him. Maybe Justin Herbert should probably be ahead of the guy that runs through gets 7 concussions in the season. Like come on. Now. Let's see who else.
I could see the argument for Dart being top 12.
Yeah.
But in the top 10 over, the guys that we just said, absolutely not.
I mean, those other guys are in Like Caleb Williams is 11th. In a Ben Johnson offense,
yeah,
it has the same
or he's
rushing
even ahead
ability
of
as
a Trevor Lawrence and a Liam Cohen offense, second year.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's 100% a New York bias and the hype that's going around their offense right now.
Yeah,
that's
that is
100% what it is. Everybody's talking about how amazing their wide receivers look right now, and in New York, the biggest media market, and so almost by default, they're gonna overrank some of these players, and then they're gonna come crashing back to earth once the Giants.
Yeah. Well, it's like in the NBA when Jalen Brunson, when the Knicks won the title, they were like, "Oh, Jalen Brunson's the best player in the world." No, he's not, but he's great.
Exactly.
But,
Well, and I think too, some of this also is the Harbaugh effect too.
Yeah.
You know, they're sort of looking at what he did with, not what he did, because Lamar Jackson was always Lamar Jackson, but you know, they sort of connect him to Lamar Jackson and that type of offense, and so they're giving Dart a boost for having an hour competent, you know, coach.
Yeah,
well.
but Matt Nagy is the offense. We gotta remember.
I know.
Matt Nagy.
Don't.
I know. Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator. And let's not forget, Dart cannot throw the ball nearly as well as Lamar.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell no.
Nothing about him is
and it's just it's so interesting to me. You have him ahead of Dak.
Yeah,
and Dak was coming off a great statistical year. I mean, they still have the elite receiver. They still have CD. They still have George Pickens. They still have wait. Did Ferguson leave?
No, Ferguson's still there.
So Ferguson's still there. They still got Ferguson.
They got
Schottenheimer has proven himself.
Floyd is underrated receiver for Dallas. So
I almost feel like they lean dynasty without saying they lean dynasty.
Yeah.
It very much feel outside of the Caleb Williams, which is another weird. It was because two people decided they hate Caleb Williams, I think. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. But by and large, a lot of the younger quarterbacks got the nods over the older quarterbacks. So it's almost like they went dynasty without saying they were going dynasty.
I think Dak and Stafford's rankings are like the two most baffling things.
Yes.
Because they would probably be ahead of guys like Dart, Herbert, Purdy, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, Dak's only behind Dart. I think if you move Dak up and Dart down, then maybe we have a more reasonable argument.
Here's my top 5. You want to hear my top 6 fantasy quarterbacks?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me give you my top 6. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I will go Jay Hurts at 3. Daniels at 4. So you can flip one of you can flip.
I'm already gonna disagree with you on the Hurts one. As an Eagles fan. Sorry.
Of course. No.
I love Hurts, but
I think Hurts has a top 3 finish this year. I really do. So that's why I have him.
I think he'll have a great year. I don't know about in terms of going into the season, fantasy rankings. I just don't see him
going into the season is like I'm projecting here with my rankings. Okay, I'm projecting.
Yeah, I know you're chugging that freaking hype train down the tracks, man. I respect it, but let's pump the brakes just a tad bit on it.
Okay, we'll pump the brakes. Bit. No, Jalen Hurts at 6 is a fine spot.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing.
6 is fine. Yeah, I'm cool with 6.
I'm cool with 6. Drake May, it was going to be my 5th quarterback in that little soliloquy there.
Yeah.
So, I was good, and then I was going to have Dak at 6. So that's what I was going to have. That's what my 6 was. So
wait, who was your 4th? I forgot who was your 4th.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Okay, yeah.
So basically, what ESPN had, I'll just move Burrow behind Dak. For me, because
really. You move Burrow out of the top 5?
I would throw Joe Burrow out of the top 5. Here's why.
Okay.
I think the injuries are going to catch the injuries. Even though he's had great numbers the last, even because of Jamar Chase and all that, like the weapons he has. I just think Dak this year is going to be even more hungry than he was last year.
Yes.
To prove and the chemistry of George Pickens has gotten better over time.
Dak's in the prime of his career right now. So And Burrow, even though he's been great, he's not there yet. And like you said, the injury history there. But there is an injury history of Dak too. So
There is
both ways for each player.
And I'm defending the Cowboy here, which I would
which is weird. But hey, look, I actually respect Dak as an Eagles fan.
Yeah,
he's probably the only Cowboy I like.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I like.
But I
CD.
also have to say that because the other half of my family are all.
I like CD because
so they would be like, "Oh, you're hating too much on the Cowboys if you hate."
I like CD because his chemistry hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I would want CD in the Eagles uniform to be with Jalen Hurts, but other than that,
I don't think that'll ever happen.
No, I don't
but I wish.
That'd be awesome. But to relive the Oklahoma years. But yeah, no, I get it. I get where you're coming from, Jacob, with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, Chris was going to disagree with Hurts at 3. In my hypothetical.
Well, he's
I don't know if I have Hurts
because he thinks Drake May should be in that 3 spot instead.
No, Drake May is
fair. I would put
Drake May should be in. I don't disagree. On a serious note, I was going to make a joke and put Drake May as 1 and be like,
over Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
No, Josh Allen is obviously number 1 for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is obviously number 2 for fantasy purposes.
Yes.
I actually have Joe Burrow number 3 for fantasy purposes.
Okay.
Again, obviously the injury history is scary, but I think and I get it's an if, it's very risky. But if he's healthy, the numbers he puts up with that offense is just absurd. His offense is brutal.
Yeah, he's already proven when he's healthy, he's a baller.
Yeah, he puts up video game numbers. So that's why I have him at 3. I have Drake May at 4, above Jaden Daniels. I have Jaden Daniels 5.
Yeah.
All right. And then I do have Dak Prescott at 6 and Jalen Hurts at 7.
Yeah, there you go. You go.
Yeah, he's stirring the pot. I like the pot.
I get it. I get the reasoning behind it. Dak is coming off a great year. Like Jalen Hurts has had coming off a year where he threw his most career passing touchdowns. Let's remember that. Let's also remember he had a great season.
But the issue also in that, and I get the issues surrounding Hurts is just like, look, this is our 5th OC in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I understand them being like, okay, he's got to relearn a whole new offense again.
And this is,
but I do think, as an Eagles fan, I do think our offense is going to be worlds better than they were last season.
I do agree with that overall. I do think your offense is going to be better, and I think it's going to rely a lot on much better balance of everything.
Yes.
The other reason I'm a little lower than Jalen Hurts, through no necessarily fault of his own, but because of the change up on offense. And the wide receiving core being younger now, too, and not having that same chemistry with him right away, and them going to be learning the league. I think there's going to be some learning curve for them that's going to impact his statistics just because they're still learning.
Well, I think that'll also be offset because, like you said, we're going to run more of a balanced offense. And as we talked before the show, Hurts has, in camp so far, wanted to run more. They've run more offensive, plays that are centered around him running. Mm-hmm. Obviously, during the offseason, it was reported he lost a few pounds, so he's trying to get a little bit lighter so he can move quicker.
Yep.
I just feel like from a rushing perspective, that'll add on to his fantasy value. Yes. And I do think he'll end up – I feel like 7 is a good spot. I agree with Chris's ranking on that, with Dak being over him at right now. At the present, but I think during the season, statistically, I think Hurts will have a better season than Dak overall.
I think so too, because my thing is right now, yes, Chris is probably the closest accuracy ranking. Unfortunately,
I know I am.
I would not have Drake May above Jaden Daniels, though. I digress.
If you look, but statistically, seriously, based off of last year, right? Jaden Daniels was hurt, wasn't great. Drake May put up great numbers with a putrid offense, right?
Oh, I get it.
The number 1 receiver was big. Now he's got AJ freaking Brown.
And he was top 5. He was top 5 with a putrid offense.
I get it. I know he was
better than that, arguably, with a much better offense.
What was that schedule, Chris? What was that schedule? I'm just just say what was the
It is
schedule
funny,
last year?
Chris, how did that schedule look?
I
Dog?
not
Was
letting
it real
go down
strong?
that easy.
What was that Super Bowl, Chris?
I
What was that
did. I
Super
love
Bowl?
that.
At least
love
I
it.
made it. At least I made it.
I love poking the bear a little bit with that.
At least we made it. At least we made it, buddy.
I have
I know.
learned so far from all these pods, Brandon, with you. When you get the chance, you will stir that pot, man.
I was stirring
You will
the
stir
pot.
that pot, brother.
I'm gonna stir the pot. I'm like, okay, what was the schedule last year, and what was the playoff results last year for Drake May's numbers? And then I'll be quiet.
Good thing Drake May's numbers in the playoffs don't count towards fantasy football.
I know they don't. I know they don't. What were AJ Brown's numbers last year?
You would know better than me. He was on.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he
I don't
is in
know.
a good situation there.
Yeah, what happened with the other? Yeah. He seems a lot happier now, buddy. I don't know.
I hope for your sake he stays that way because he'll stir the pot.
Trust
somehow.
me, the mood swings hit hard and fast, man.
He'll stir the pot, man. He'll stir the pot. No, I think Drake May is legit. Gonna be top 4, top 5.
Yeah.
Fantasy quarterback this I really do. I think Drake May, value wise, I would draft Drake May over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I really would.
Yeah. Just because of the weapons they have now on offense, I just feel like
Oh, and when you can get him in the draft too, right? I mean, the problem is you have to pick up an Allen or a Jackson first round, maybe
or second or third round, yes,
if you're lucky. Whereas you could get May probably third round, maybe even fourth
exactly.
depending on the league.
Because most of the time when it's fantasy, they're drafting the skill players first, and then you get to the second and third rounds. That's when the QBs start coming off the board.
Yes, exactly.
So you could get better value waiting a little bit longer for May than burning one of the highest on.
I think the best value quarterbacks are going to be May, Hurts, maybe Daniels if he doesn't go crazy after, like that people don't draft him right away after Lamar and Josh.
They may.
And then or May. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like you can have May in that crazy situation, like right away. So
I feel like another one you're missing in there, Brandon, because you're mostly saying all the top guys. More of the underrated guys, maybe like a T-Law.
Yeah, maybe it's Trevor Lawrence in the value. Yeah.
Caleb,
I feel like him, and obviously Stafford, who's all the way down at freaking 15th. So
another very sneaky stash, and we talked about him earlier, winning, his battle, but a Kyler Murray, in that Vikings offense,
especially with that receiving
not to be a starter right away, but stashing him as your backup, especially if you go with one of the later ones like a T-Law, and then grab a Kyler as your backup and see which one ends up, having the better season. Isn't awful either,
Another one. I know the NFC South's not great, right?
Yeah.
But there's a quarterback in New Orleans who had a great.
You're gonna say Show. I knew you were gonna say Show. Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler Shutt.
Yeah.
That dude is gonna be. I think him and Kellen Moore are gonna be balling. I think the offense is gonna fire on all cylinders.
I agree on that.
That's another stash later in the draft, or waiver wire. If you want to wait till waiver wire and be like, okay, that's gonna be one of my first waiver wire pickups of the year.
And I think a risk, like a high risk but high reward sort of pick in that same division would be Bryce Young.
100%.
Yeah, I think he'd be a high risk but a high reward because I just feel like the way the Panthers were able to grow on offense last season, especially with Young showing flashes of being a way better quarterback than people give him credit for, and also T-Mac in the second year, I just feel like I just had to plug it mostly because of Arizona. I needed to plug my T-Mac boy, but
Tedero McMillan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's – here's my thing. So the NFC East has all four quarterbacks in the top 10 in fantasy. Right?
Yeah.
What other division has all four? Like, like all 4 quarterbacks. It's going to be interesting division, like fantasy wise.
To be fair, one of those 4 maybe shouldn't be in the top 10.
Yeah,
I get that with Jackson Dart.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, the NFC East. People love the NFC.
It's gonna be a fun season, NFC East, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I think fantasy-wise, a lot of winning teams will have a combination.
The NFC in general is exciting. I mean, 3 of the 4 divisions are 3 of the most exciting divisions in the league.
Yeah.
The one that, you know what I mean? NFC South is interesting for the fact of,
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, it's interesting because nobody feels like they wanted to win that division. So you're just looking at
exactly.
So everybody's just like, no, you take the division. No, you take the division.
No,
I think it's interesting in that aspect.
The worst to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Who doesn't shoot themselves in the foot?
You got to think about it this way too. I think the reason that division got so muddled at the end was because of the addition, of New Orleans. I think New Orleans really muddled up that division at the end of the year.
Exactly. I feel that too.
Because that's the thing. They got hot a little bit and then salvaged. They were like one of the worst teams in the league.
Well, and Tampa Bay was just so injury riddled.
Yeah,
because they were the favorite, and they were 6-2, 7-2, and
then they were winning a lot. They collapsed. Like Tampa collapsed, and I think the combination of that and New Orleans muddling it up gave Carolina the option to win that tie.
Don't forget, Atlanta also had a few key games in there. I think they
beat the Rams late in the year to make it interesting, to make it that 3.
Because remember, there was like a scenario heading into the final game last season between Carolina and Tampa that, if something were to happen, that the Falcons could swoop in and secure a playoff spot.
Yeah. So I think it was if Carolina lost, I think Atlanta had the opportunity to get that playoff spot.
Yeah, I think if both teams had lost or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, I think Carolina and Tampa Bay played for that final spot.
They did. They did because Atlanta. I think Atlanta ended up losing to New Orleans. I think.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Atlanta lost to New Orleans. Well, that's the thing. Or lost to one of the games because Carolina had a tiebreaker over Atlanta. I think Atlanta technically finished second in the division. Yeah. Technically speaking, I can't remember. It was all 3 were 8 and 9.
It was such a muddled mess.
It was a muddled mess, and I think it was a combination of Tampa's injuries, New Orleans getting hot at the end of the year with Tyler Shep, and then
Carolina sort of finding their stride a little bit.
Towards the end of the year. So
and then Atlanta played spoiler a couple times as well. So
So that's the thing. The NFC, fantasy wise, and actually football watching, I think it's going to be fun. AFC, I think AFC has got all of the big hitters. Fantasy wise, we didn't talk about Mahomes at 13. We'll talk about Mahomes real quick, I guess, before we wrap it up. I like that spot from Patrick. I would have him lower than I would put him at 5th personally, just because I don't know what he's going to look like after the ACL.
Yeah, I don't, because everybody's like, because he's an underrated rusher. Yeah. I just don't know how he's going to look running wise after the ACL injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like he's not going to have, because the thing for him that's always steadied him in fantasy over the years is he has actually good touchdown numbers, rushing and obviously passing. I just feel like coming into the season after acquiring Kenneth Walker, I just feel like they're going to get into goal line situations. It's just going to be run the ball, give it to Kenneth and run the ball in.
Yeah, protect Mahomes at all costs, kind of a deal. Try to get him to February football again. So I just So we'll see what happens.
Team as a whole that interests me more than just about any other team in the league right now, because I just don't. They could go so many different directions with how their season ends up. They're the most, in my opinion, the biggest polarizing or the biggest sort of question mark in the league. Because if they're going right and what they could be, obviously they're back to the KC of old and they're back to running a receive, but they could just as easily completely miss the playoffs like they did last year. That wide of a range of outcomes. And so they're going to be very interesting to watch, especially early.
And I think it'll be interesting to watch them, not because of their offense, but because of their defense. Obviously, losing McDuffie was a big thing. I know they got Snead back, but at the same time, we don't know if Snead will look like the same player he did when they won Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like there's like Chris said, there's so many question marks there, and they could go any direction.
Yes.
And I think a lot of it will fall upon if their defense is able to be the defense that they've been during the Super Bowl years. If they can return to that and Chris Jones can be a dominant force, he had a very down year last year and he's older now.
Yep.
So I feel like he's a key for that. And obviously we will see how their secondary unfolds as well.
Yep. I agree with everything you said there. So with that being said, it's been a great episode of the show, like always. Tune in next week on this show for our preview, our division winners, our division breakdowns. We're gonna do we're gonna start that next week. I think we're gonna do probably NFC next week, AFC, then we'll do the playoffs, the third the third show after that. So we'll do our playoff bracket after that. So we'll be writing down our picks of each division, each of our playoff picks, obviously our wild cards.
We'll do a playoff picture sort of preview for each conference.
Yeah. We'll do like the break it down by division and whoever makes the wild card. So we'll start with all the NFC teams next week, all the AFC teams, and then we'll actually run through the bracket. The third episode. The next 3 episodes. So we're going to start our preview breakdown next week. We'll probably get into defense fantasy, a little bit of defense fantasy at next week as well on Inside Rush here as well. And then who knows? Whatever news breaks, so we'll talk about the news as well as next week. So that would be a good show next week. As well. We might actually get into and also maybe give our national championship picks in one of these episodes, like for college. Actually, give our national champions because that, like I said, the college football is literally I think 2 to 3 weeks away. It is getting here close.
2 weeks. 2
weeks. Yeah. So probably that second episode where we cover the AFC side.
We'll include some college football national championship picks.
We'll give our national championship picks that week. So tune into that. Stay tuned for Enzo Rush. Enzo Rush is going to be a big show. Yeah. So tune into that. We got Off the Wall Baseball on Sunday, like I said earlier. So tune into that. Me and Chris, we'll hammer it out. We'll do a good show. Recapping the Field of Dreams game that happened tonight. As well as a few other things.
Having quite a game for that one, by the way.
Huh?
Schwarber having quite a game for that one.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Good tidbit. I love that. I love that Schwarber's having a big game for it. So we'll actually have some great analysis to pick up on. And then Monday, we're back to having big shows for NBA for limitless range basketball because we got some big stuff that broke this week. The schedule. The full slate is officially out in the NBA schedule. Chris kind of did. Me and Chris on Tuesday highlighted that Celtics opener a little bit off of the wall baseball. That weird Celtics opener at 3 p.m. So you can get Chris's thoughts on that. Go to the last off the wall baseball. So for that,
we got free agency news for NBA too. So,
we got free agency.
I just saw something on my phone. I'm not going to break it right now.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yep, I know what you're talking about. We know Russell Westbrook retired.
Yes.
As well, big stuff in the NBA show, along with WNBA recap, all that stuff. So like normal, the last couple weeks we've been the WNBA. So the show on Monday is going to be big.
Yeah, it's going to be loaded.
So tune in Monday around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Whenever we start live, whenever I hit the go live button, tune into that. My first article of the relaunch will be up probably tomorrow afternoon. I'll get the first article up. That is the plan.
You actually sat down and wrote.
Oh no, I'm going to write tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you already wrote it. You were just waiting.
No, I'm going to write tomorrow. Right. That is the plan. It's gonna be up.
Look, if I gotta come where you live, Brandon, and force you to type, I will.
No, you're not gonna
I
come
will
up
do
here.
it, man.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna do that to me. It will get done. It's gonna get done. I think also tomorrow too. I think I will be able to get the Ellis Highlight Reel show up and running. I might just do a pre-recorded episode and then do the live episodes from there after that. So that is the plan there for that show. But yeah, Ellis Highlight Reel on YouTube. If you're here watching on YouTube, if you're here on TikTok watching on my TikTok, Ellis Highlight Reel there too. My Facebook at Brandon Ellis. I've gotten some great feedback on my Facebook, so thank you all for that. By the way, comment, like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Obviously, click the bell if you want to click the bell for notice for all when we go live. And everything like that. Doing some more shorts as well. The weekend's gonna be busy for the pod and the blog and everything like that. So this weekend's gonna be my busy weekend. It's gonna be busy overall. But I think I'm gonna make sure I did some stuff done this weekend. So with that being said, guys, go ahead, shout out y'all stuff.
Chris, do you want to go first?
Sure. All right. Yeah. My social media is at ChristianB617 with some variation thereof on pretty much everything: X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads. I don't know, whatever, all of them. I'm there. I primarily write on Total Apex Entertainment, so www.totalapexentertainment.com. Mostly for the video games, some other entertainment stuff as well, and every once in a while I pop over on sports. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can check out all my stuff. And then obviously, as Brandon already shouted out, I'm also on Sunday's baseball podcast here as well. So
you can find me on Instagram at JDPerrine24, like you see on the screen there. You can also find my stuff at totalapexsports.com. If you type in my name, Jacob Perrine, to Google, the first thing will pop up is my page. You can go on there, see everything I've ever written for Total Apex Sports, and just, support my stuff. Would love to see it. And pretty much, that's pretty much all where you can find me. Also on Muckrack too, as well.
Also at one of the bars in Myrtle Beach.
Yes. At Dead Dog Saloon. I will plug them on the podcast right now. Dead Dog Saloon, come over, support the bar. We love seeing people. We got great live music, great food.
Yeah,
come on over.
Yeah, I just wanted to give that out. This man's also doing bartending,
and it means more money in my pocket. That's all I know.
Exactly. If you're out there, if you're in the area, go see him. Go see him there. But with that being said, tune in to Sunday. Actually, tune in. Well, tomorrow, like I said, probably be pre-recorded with all of my busy work this weekend.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna pre-record that episode. Just have a big, probably like 30-minute recording of what I was gonna do. So keep an eye on that tomorrow afternoon, sometime tomorrow afternoon, and then the full live show will start the following week. I think that's my plan for that. And then, like I said, also tomorrow, a couple articles going to be out on ellishighlightreel.wordpress.com. I will have posts on YouTube on it. I will have posts on my Instagram once I share those, and my Twitter and my X account at 30BLS, and then the Instagram _BLS32. Also, my Facebook page, I'll share it. So anywhere you can, see my name, it will be a link to those articles. I'll be posted tomorrow. So, with that being said, peace out from the Enzo Rush crew. Big show next week. Enzo Rush starting the breakdowns of the seasons.